Thank you very much, and hello keta to everybody else from Port Vila and Vanuatu. I apologise for the background noise, just in case I am a little bit interrupted with the team here at Biosecurity graciously hosting me. So I'll just give you a brief background to our program, which is funded by New Zealand, and what we're doing, and just some of the learnings, I suppose, and the barriers and the challenges that we've had as part of delivery of this in the last 5 years. So this is a New Zealand funded aid program, and it is specifically on coconut rhinoceros beetle. And we are at the moment, our 3 focus countries are Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands and Vanuatu. So it is 18 million New Zealand dollars worth, and this program started in 2019 and will finish sadly at the end of this year. There is still much work to be done, and we are looking at a phase 2. However, we haven't been able to commit to that just yet. So as part of our delivery, we have 3 components. So that first component there is looking into enhanced efforts in research and application of new biocontrols. So I know that we've heard from Dr. Mark Ero previously, and I believe that Dr. Sulav will be talking a little bit later. So I will let them cover more of the intricacies of the genotypes and the beetles, etc., all the stuff that I don't necessarily do. I do have a science degree, but I have been made a career of working between researchers and farmers and managing the programs that way. So they are looking for new biocontrol options. CRBG we found has been very difficult to infect with Oryctes nudibranchs, and we are looking for new strains of that which may be more help us suppress that G population. The
Tanya,
second component there is, yes?
I'm just going to ask you, maybe if you could turn your video off, it might just give you a little bit more bandwidth.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, this has been the first time that the bandwidth has been a bit slow. So the second component is the communication and awareness strategy. So this is all program, and this is delivered with SPC under the Pacific Awareness and Response to CRB Park project. So that's Dr. Mark Ero and his team, who are based out of Suva. The third one, we have a program directly with the Solomon Islands government as well. So that's mainly looking at surveillance and sanitation and helping with keeping that beetle suppressed until we can come up with biocontrol or other long-term sustainable options. Sorry, as part of this, I can't, because I've stopped my video.
Yeah.
I, for some reason, can't click across to move the presentation.
Okay, does it work now once your video's on? Perfect.
Here we go. So the goals of this program are to hopefully contain the spread of CRBG and S in its target countries with limited new incursions. The existing CRBG populations are reduced in size and contained to lessen the impact on livelihoods and food security. Find and develop long-term solutions to the management of the pests for sustainable options through biocontrols, and enhance the Pacific regional capacity and detection response of invasive pests. So here's some specific challenges. In the Solomon Islands, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is made up of over 900 islands, and so they're quite interspersed. And there is a difficulty in managing inter-island transport of goods and stopping that. We haven't had legislation in place to be able to allow the team to stop that. Provincial delivery of sanitation limiting surveys takes time and a lot of work to get those in place and get people out there to do their demonstration activities. And also because we're running through the government, there's resource constraints. The team is only so big and government processes take time. In Vanuatu, our challenges have been, the CRBS was actually a new introduction to Vanuatu in the last 5 years or so, and then CRBG arrived during COVID with neither one of those had any virus present, so it's been quite devastating here because they haven't had any way to sort of keep it contained. The team have done a fantastic job at keeping the beetle restricted to the main island of MFAT. But because this is a major port network, it's been quite a hard task to keep that restricted and keep those ships safe when they're travelling out to the provinces. Again, another one issue of resource constraints. It's a small team. They've got a lot of donor activities and there's so much work to be done. And this is taking time with the team. In Papua New Guinea, the challenges have been the size and the ability to manage populations and transport of different materials potentially is massive. The coconut breed or the coconut and or oil palm, because CRB does affect oil palm as well, areas are vast and spread across the country. And so for the team to be able to actually manage that, it has been quite the task, and to get out to outlying islands as well, just to understand what's going on. There's also the presence of other pressures, plant health pressures such as coconut bogie syndrome, which could potentially, provide habitat for CRB to establish. And again, as with every other country, resource constraints as well, just having enough people and enough funds to be able to implement the management programs. So the common barriers in delivery to managing CRB across these countries, and I would assume across the Pacific, is coconut prices and opportunities to derive income, make the labour and management of managing CRB. We need drivers to make it worthwhile. People are reluctant to do hard work in the field unless they can see a return on income for that. The complexity of IPM in coconut plantations and farms in developing countries is, without agronomic support, is very difficult to get right. Accessibility of staff, transport materials and palms to actually manage CRB, and expectations that government will do the hard work on private farms. So there has been a bit of sitting on hands and expecting the government to do the CRB management on private or individual farms. The continuity of delivery, including support to farmers, monitoring of traps, consistency and research. So we've ended up with, for instance, gaps in data for the research activities that we're doing. So we haven't had teams working over Christmas or those sorts of things. Our program delivery has been restricted to 3 countries, which has been quite limiting because we know that there's some other smaller countries there crying out for help as well. And lack of legislation to support biosecurity operations. But some successes. Obviously, we sort of can't yell from the rooftops too loudly yet, but we've established meaningful protocols and methodologies with teams, and then teams in country. Our partners are Nakia, KIK, and PNG Opera in PNG, Biosecurity Solomon Islands, and the Solomon Islands, and KPSI, which is Coconut Pacific. And here in Vanuatu, it's Vanuatu Biosecurity. So they're able to run their own research trials, they're able to do their own dissections, they're able to monitor their own trapping networks. We've really set up some good methodologies, and teams are doing really, really well themselves. We have identified some new potential biocontrol options. Both fungus and virus have lab tested and field tested and released some of those. Vanuatu has restricted the spread of CRB to the outer islands for over 5 years. However, I am actually here now because it has been established, or it's not established, but it has been found in Santo, which is quite a concern for them. Internal biosecurity plans have been developed and run by partners in country. So we haven't directed that. There's only there in country, and each one is very different and adapted to their needs. And awareness of what CRB is and how to manage it is widespread across each country through farmers. And we're also seeing recovery of palms in and around some of our IPM trial sites in some locations. So the next steps, as I said earlier, we haven't sadly committed to a phase 2 yet, funding wise, and obviously we do need more donor support, and we're happy to collaborate with others on place and how we could potentially work with others or pass that on to other potential donors or other countries that are interested. So there are new countries with new incursions and the ability to assist with those early warning systems and then rapidly respond. Establishment of successful biocontrols in provinces. So once we have a few that are working, how do we actually get them out to where we need them? And also having supplies bulked in country and ready for dispersal. New plantations are able to be protected whilst CRB is establishing. And also newfound importance of, one of the critical things is a newfound importance of the coconut industry and its benefits to future populations and livelihood, so that we have those drivers there for people to be managing and establishing and looking after their coconut plantations to keep CRB at check. So those are, I suppose, some of the ones that we're looking at from a program perspective as well. So that's me. Thank you.